Hey everybody, and welcome to a care guide on all three Euphyllia corals: torch coral, hammer coral and frogspawn. Let's jump right in. So these corals are stony corals, but their tentacles are kind of soft, and right at the ends of them they all have different shapes. So the hammer has like a T shape, the torch has just one big ball on the end, and the frogspawn has multiple small branches coming off of each other. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between a torch and a hammer, especially when the hammer is very small, because the ends of their tentacles can sometimes look like balls. There are two different types that Euphyllia corals can grow in. So you've got the branching, which is this hammer here. This is a branching hammer. You can see underneath the coral there are some heads that branch out from the main bulk of the coral. And then you've got a wall kind, which I think this frogspawn is a wall kind, which kind of stretches its the whole head out, and it splits into even more heads. The branching type of growing on Euphyllia is the fastest type of growing, but it's still pretty slow. But it can easily turn into from 1 head to 20 heads in just a few months. Fragging Euphyllia corals is pretty simple. All you need is a pair of bone cutters or any basic saw. When you frag this coral, I recommend using an iodine disinfectant to help the healing process. Super glue works to glue these corals down onto a frag disc or plug, or you can choose to putty these onto a disc or plug. You can sometimes lose the coral if it struggles to heal itself after you've fragged it, but 70% of frags are successful, but that means 30% aren't, so just be aware of that. So if it starts losing its colour and just not really healing up, then that's when you know it's died from the fragging. Okay, so now let's talk about flow. Okay, so torch corals can stand from medium to high. Don't absolutely batter them with flow though. So they do like a medium, in between medium and high flow, right in the centre there. Is perfect for torches. And hammer corals like medium to low flow really, because they can survive and grow in high flows, but they will be shot in. I find that you get the most expanded hammer corals when in low flow. And frogspawns, I would say low to medium. It's the same reason really. Too much flow can highly stress out the coral and it will be shot in, but it can slowly, if you can slowly build up the flow, it will adjust to higher flows. All three species of these Euphyllia corals have the same lighting requirements. If you have a really intense lighting, like one of those Red Sea lights or a Kessel, don't put it right at the top of the surface, because it can easily stress the coral out. The colour will be down, the growth won't really grow that much. So I would probably put them at the low to medium point of the tank. Okay, now let's talk about parameters. Nitrates, well, temperature is an important one, and it's the same as anything else really, and anywhere from 24.8 at the lowest and at the highest of like 26.1, but you want it around the 25.4. Anywhere from 25 and 26 is a safe zone really. Any higher or lower than that is in the critical zone really. But nitrates, you're looking, well, any really, at least it's got some nutrients in there to feed off. But alkalinity is the main parameter you want to look at. So you want to make sure this thing is no lower than 11 really. Any lower or higher, well, higher is good. You want to give it as much alkalinity as possible, because they have a calcium carbonate skeleton, so they need that alkalinity to grow that. They will grow even faster and their colour will be even more glowier if your alkalinity is stable as well. It has to stay in a very short range. You can feed these corals. The torch coral, easy feed, it will help with growing. Hammer, do not feed the hammers. It can stress them out if you're overfeeding the hammer, because these corals will send out feeding tentacles, to feed what they need. The torch you can give that, it doesn't really, that's not really that fussed. The frog spawn you can feed them, it's not a requirement, it won't really make much of a difference. Just I would avoid feeding the hammer corals, because I've done that before when it's tend to shoot in and just back off quite a bit if I feed them too much. So these feeding tentacles can sting other corals. It's not a very intense sting, I'd say it's right in the middle, so sting intensity. So just keep them a few inches away from other corals and it should be fine. But even if you put it right next to another type of coral, it probably won't sting it that much, and it won't really make much of a negative effect on the opposite or other coral. So that will do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my care guide on Euphyllia corals, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.